with another one of these, I know. But there seems to have been some news about how VOX will probably be redeemed come the next few seasons, to which I say, why? Now, before you all lose it in the comments, it would seem he's not going to the hotel and getting a free ticket to heaven, but more so being redeemed, or in this case, humbled, for Valentino and Velvet, thanks to a Q&A at MegaCon Orlando, where the VAs for Val, Vox, and Cherry Bomb, weird, but okay, where they were all asked what's their favorite aspects on the message that unifies the fans. What a really unique question, by the way. Anyway, though, Vox's voice actor, Christian, answers that everyone deserves to be forgiven and everyone has a story, which, like, if he's talking about his character specifically, then he might be a bit biased, because let's not forget, Vox not only killed a bunch of people to get on top, he also just killed randomly for ratings, then became a cult leader, and once in hell became an overlord, still with a cult by the way, and had zero good intentions with becoming an overlord, got in a relationship with and I hate saying it, but YouTube makes me say it, but a grapist, and even included it into his empire, so to speak, then tried to take over heaven and kidnapped Lucifer. And this is years worth of stuff, minus the heaven thing and Lucifer thing, but still, and if he only means that in the sense of Velvet and Val to forgive him and be redeemed that way, then all that stuff is relatively fine on their part, as they're just as bad. But if he meant like actual redemption, then no, Vox should not be forgiven. His two backstories mean nothing. I don't care if Alistair broke his heart and he just wanted to be adored. That's not how you go about it. However, big however, at two other conventions where the V's voice actors are present, two other questions were asked, like, do they think their character will be redeemed, or what do they think it would take for their character to be redeemed? And each said they couldn't answer, and that makes me slightly nervous if they didn't want to answer for their character specifically, or if they just didn't want to allude to Vox's whole thing. But it's like, if they're asking specifically your character, then Val and Velvet should just straight up say nothing. They don't want to be redeemed, and then just move on from there. So that part makes me a little nervous as well. However, though, thanks to Viv, we got something where she states Vox's new arc is learning to deal with not being on top, and that he'll be humbled, and that he might grow from it, and what he plans to do from there, which, like, okay, fine, it's slightly vague on how this is all gonna go down, but I just have to ask again, why? And like, I get if the show was longer and we had massive amount of time, every character would get a chance to have their own thing going on, but they don't, and we won't, and we still haven't focused nearly enough on the cast at the hotel. And don't say that we have season 3 and season 4, it doesn't matter how many seasons we're gonna get. I feel like the focus has never truly been on the cast or the hotel itself. Cause like, it feels like we focused on every outside character Viv can throw at us, and then we're just left to fill in the gaps for the main characters with what little we do get. And don't get me wrong, I know Valentino will be the new villain come season 3, since he's now the head of the V's and now has Angel back, which, side note, that's a big mess, mainly due to what happens to Vox. Like, think about it. Vox has to constantly mind control Angel to get the mind control to last, which we don't really know the full effect on how it works, but now with Vox's head being ripped off and him having basically no ratings to really do anything, his abilities are probably weak and useless. So there's really no full reason for Angel to have gone back or have this fear that he's gonna hurt his friends again. But I mean, obviously he is still kind of out of it due to everything that was going on, but still. I'm also curious how Vox's mind control didn't necessarily break the contract between Val and Angel. I wish I knew the full detail on how their contract works, since Angel can pretty much do whatever he wants outside of the studio, yet Val was able to lie to him to come into work and then have Vox mind control him. I feel like there's some kind of like little loophole there that would allow the contract to break. But now that I think about it, I wonder if that's why Val had Angel go to the motel instead of to the office. That way it wouldn't necessarily break the contract, since Val made it seem like it was for work. But again, we don't really know the full dynamic on how these contracts work, or how you're able to get out of them, or how you're able to like trick your way out of them as well, or how the magic itself works. So like, I'm hoping come season 3 they do something that alludes to how these things work. Plus, it makes me curious on why Val never just gives Angel 24-hour shifts every day to keep him at the V's tower. Like, why let him leave and move out if you have the ability to not let him do that? Unless there's like a clause in the contract. But anyway, yeah, but again, Vox now no longer has power over Angel, only Val does, and it's not really the same type of abilities. So yeah, him just going back really just seems like a way for Valentino to be the new villain next season. And side note, anyone else feel like Vox should have gone to jail or something other than going back to his tower? I get the other V's might torture him, but again, dude tried to break in and destroy heaven and kidnap Lucifer, Hell's king, so to speak. Yet Charlie and Lucifer are just like, it's fine. We have people at the hotel now. Who cares about the guy that tried to blow up hell or mind controlled our friend? He's fine. He can just get humbled and be a slightly improved person with his evil team and abusive lover. I swear, there is no actual consequences in this show for any of the bad things that the characters do, other than Adam dying, which is so weird long term. And like, I know Lucifer can't do anything, but Sarah's right there, so she should do something. Plus, I know that there is jails in hell. Hello Boss has shown us that, and I know that sinners can't go down to other levels, so maybe they could have just turned the old, like, heaven headquarters into an angelic jail or something. And don't get me wrong, I know hell itself is the punishment, but from what we've seen, if you're evil enough and work hard enough, you can make a pretty decent afterlife or career. Hell, you can even fall in love and get married in hell and just be happy for all eternity with your lover. Like, that doesn't seem like a bad thing. I mean, like, it just feels like Earth. It just feels like a red Earth, if that makes any sense. Anyway, though, back to Val and Vox. If Vox is meant to be humbled and work his way back into the good graces of his team, and if they really, really focus on this, like, all through season 3, then I am so not looking forward to Vox and Val's will they, won't they. I actually really love you and the life we've built together and our adoptive 30-year-old daughter, Velvet. Like, call me a hater, but I don't really like Val, and I don't really want to see his backstory or why he thinks it's okay to do the things that he does just because he doesn't understand. I know that's up for debate on if that's, like, accurate or not, but hands down, I just want to see Angel clock this fool or break his contract with him so he can finally move on and get started on his redemption. Also, if they sideline Velvet again, I'm gonna be so disappointed, as, again, I think Velvet should have been the head of the V's. I don't understand how Valentino is more popular than Velvet in the sense of ratings. Like, we see that when Vox's ratings do go down, we see that that Valentino's is higher than Velvet's, and it's like, how? I understand Valentino being popular for the things that he produces, but him as a person, I don't see his ratings being that high compared to her, considering all that she does and is on and doing. Plus, she seems a lot more suited for the position than Val is. Plus, Val's image is gonna be 100% harder for her to keep afloat. I mean, look at Vox. He was somewhat picture perfect, but only because he played the role and didn't let up till Alistair was involved. Valentino, on the other hand, doesn't do that at all, and it makes me wonder how him being the head of the V's is gonna go down, since Val's main thing was always just the studio. He's never really involved in much like Velvet and Vox are, and both of them probably didn't have to work very hard to keep Val looking decent to the public. Like, Valentino is basically in his own echo chamber within the V Tower, which is probably why his ratings were better than Velvet's to some degree, but now that he's in the limelight, he's probably gonna lose a lot of his ratings quicker than Vox did, which probably makes sense why Viv said that Velvet will be the next villain come season 4, which, like, again, okay, cool, but how exactly is she gonna be a threat when she doesn't really have any beef with the main cast? Because if she's just gonna go after Charlie again, then I really don't want to stick around for that, especially with season 4's theme being family. Though, maybe her ties to the main cast could be specifically with Nifty, and we could finally get something from her and Velvet at the same time, though with the whole root of evil plotline, who knows if anything will even be given to either of them at all. But season 3 is my main focus on Velvet, because now that Valentino is in the spotlight and Angel is back in the mix, and with Vox getting even more development, where does that leave Velvet's development? I mean, again, she will be the next villain in season 4, so they're gonna have to do something to show how she got there. And if it were me, I'd either have it to where Valentino undervalues her, or just flat out ignores her help now that Angel is back, and just ends up making her job in Afterlife harder while trying to rebrand the V's all on her own. And with Vox and Valentino probably getting back on track with their relationship, and Vox getting humbled at the same time, I can see Velvet not trusting it, and kind of thinking that Valentino is acting weak for a man that doesn't really care, which could push her to want to do something about it. And if Eve is going to be a part of the storyline like I think she is, then maybe Velvet siding with her seems the most reasonable. I mean, she does manipulate everything, so she could easily do something for Eve if push comes to shove. Or if Velvet just feels underappreciated and then you have Eve come in and it's like, girl boss moment. Or, she could also work with Lute, do a whole, let's get back to the good old days, let's kill the princess and start the exterminations back up, because the V's are losing money or power or whatever it is they gain from the exterminations. I still remember the meeting where they were discussing it, and it had some importance. I'm not entirely sure what it was, though. Or, honestly, I really don't know. This is all just stuff I'm spitballing. I mean, we have a full season to go before we get to Velvet's, full-on being in our face, and that season alone is just going to be full to the gills of characters struggling for time and all the new things, along with Lilith possibly being activated like the sleeper agent she is. I just know season 3 is going to be a lot with the amount of things that are going to have to go down in order to connect to season 4, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I can't think of anything else to really say. It's just the news on what's all going to be planned. It's just the news on what all is going to be planned out for the V's got me thinking on why, and thinking about what exactly they're going to do for the characters they need to do things for the next season coming around. Because when they gave us Gravity, they did nothing with Lute afterwards and said, oh, she'll be important next season, which okay, well, maybe then don't put the song that makes us think she's gonna be a threat this season in the second episode. Because otherwise, I'm gonna think that she's important this season, But anyway, next video will be Pomni's redesign as she won the poll, so I will see y'all then. Bye! Also, thank you to the other members. You have my whole heart. Everyone else, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my socials right here, and if possible, hit that join button or super to join the Board of Teeth. It really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!